So what we do in Florida is there's a pre and post election audit that happens automatically. So that has happened. It passed with flying colors in terms of how that's going. But part of the reason we had a successful election is because we were very much tuned into this from the very beginning of my administration and make sure we didn't have repeats of what we've seen throughout this state, of course, in 2000, but even as recently as 2018, where you had all these late votes coming in and it was a total disaster. So I think we did a good job. And so then the question is going forward, we did a great election package. And I think some of the things that we did in there to make sure that there's a voter ID for not only in person, but also when you're doing absentee voting, also making sure there's no ballot harvesting. That is totally toxic, and that's really undermines confidence. But if you look at some of these states that did that last year, you'd have like one person would basically be like a mule taking all these ballots all across town. That is totally unacceptable in the state of Florida, and it's illegal. And as well, we banned Zuckerbucks. And so Zuckerberg, he spent over $400 million through these, quote, nonprofits to, quote, help with election administration. But what they would do is they would require certain things to be done, like mass mail balloting, ballot harvesting, these things, and they would focus on partisan voter turnout, basically. That was totally unacceptable. Now, they did put some money into Florida, not as much as they did in like Texas or Pennsylvania or some of that, but that is now banned. Elections should be administered by these offices, not by private tech moguls coming in and basically commandeering the machinery of the elections. And so I think that we've taken a lot of action. We had a good election, and I think the issue is okay, do you want to make sure you continue doing that going forward? I do think, though, we need to make sure that if you see people violating that, that there's an easy way to be able to report that and bring people to justice. And I think sometimes what happens is, there's infractions that'll be identified or reported, and then nothing ever happens. And I can tell you, the minute people think that there is going to be prosecutions, you're going to see any impropriety in the future that will dry up immediately.